In this episode I want to talk a little bit about the problems when the camera that you use for the panorama photography is not leveled. That means when you would rotate it one time around, it would not describe a perfect leveled horizon line. And you can see this here. For example, we have here not really a straight line. We have here a V, and I exaggerate this here a little bit. This is not straight, and you might see, and this goes a little bit up here, so it's harder to see, but it goes here down, and then it goes here up, and here it goes down again. This street here goes down, so that shouldn't be up or higher than this, because this point here was higher in the reality than that. But when you have already a little bit the ground shaken for you, so nothing is really leveled, then it might look maybe different. Anyway, to have all these lines here in the picture is not really fun when you want to work with that with your CG footage, because in Cinema 4D you don't have that problem. You click one button and the camera is really straight. And so you have to have an eye on all these problems here. And normally when you stitch an image like this, for example in Pedigui, you can pull that line very simply, and I will show you that. So here's an image that I had to shoot very fast because I was on private property without a license to shoot. And so the security was already on the way, and I wanted to have that panorama here. And 10 minutes later I found myself with a camera switched off. Anyway, I shot it and it's done, so I had no time to level that. But you can see here already, even with my tripod in the scene, which was really not allowed in that area, security measurements, then you get here this bow, and I do know something that I should not do. I move this here all around so you can see how the images would line up if they are all straight. So now they are all straight here as the camera has seen it, and you see here these wavy lengths, wave form, wave shape, whatever. That's really not okay, because this floor here is really flat. And to go here and pull then that up like I did here means you get, of course, your horizon line here, whatever the horizon line would be in such an object, you get it straight. But you have to see that you have to kill here a lot of information just for fast it up. And when I go here really and I say the sky is very important, I kill here even the elephant and this area here. Or I say, okay, I go here and do a lot of Photoshop work, put a palm tree here back in and so on. Not very funny. But anyway, if you shoot in 360 by 180 degrees, that is not really a problem. And I would maybe even go so far and would say don't even bother to correct this, because you can do this in Cinema 4D in a very simple way, and I will show you that in a second. Just a little information when you want to move this here up and down. And it's not always that it is exactly in the middle, of course. Sometimes it's different. You have to find where this sine wave is, because it's always like an S-curve. Then you find one of these cross points, place your mouse to it and move just the whole thing around until it's nicely in the way. Maybe this here wouldn't work just to move it up and down, because in the moment I go here and say, okay, here's the curve, I have to move that a little bit down, it won't do that. It always takes the middle point. So Command C back and find the point that is in the middle. That can be the lower or the upper point. And in the moment you find that symmetrical point, you can move it up and down. Just move it back and forth until it fits, and then it works. At least for me. One more tip. Go to the optimizer then, run the optimizer and get your result. So back to my example that I started explaining the whole trouble. And I have placed this here in the luminance channel. And what I want to do here is, normally I would do it with the sky object, but you wouldn't see a thing, and it's not that simple. So I use here just for this tutorial a sphere. And what we need here urgently is, of course, everything set to display that we can see what we are doing here. And so we have to find now a point where we get a clear information what is going on here. And I would think at this point here, I know it from the location because I've shot there several times, this is higher than this because this is a bridge that goes into downtown, down to downtown. And so we can say we can rotate the whole thing just like that. Maybe a little bit too much. And that should be all. We can take a look now, of course. We put the camera exactly in the middle and we switched it on. And I want to see this, of course, from the camera. Something is not working here. Camera should be in the middle. So now we see exactly what's going on. I put this here a little bit bigger. So we have the camera here alone. And then I want to see more, so I take a longer lens. And this looks already much more promising than before. Of course, distorted now from the long lens here. But when I create now here in picture, I have to go here to editor and use here the texture preview set, maybe really high, so I get a nice picture here. This is nearly where I want it to be, so let's go back, coordinates, and I see here already it's not that much, maybe just a little bit. Let's check this. Perfect, there we are. Okay, so I go to my camera and I rotate it only horizontally, and you see everything is straight now, magically. Okay, here's a little bit. I have done it very quick now here with few clicks only, but you might see that some more clicks will give it exactly the way I want to have it. Of course, shooting it directly in the best way is mandatory, but sometimes we do it on the run and we have other things on our mind. And so this is my way of fixing it, because then I stay exactly with all the pixels instead of moving the pixels again around and try to fix something. And while I do this, I move pixels less than 1 pixel perhaps, or more than 1 exact pixel, and then I mix everything. And in the moment I mix it, I reduce maybe the quality to, let's say, half of what I normally would get. Okay, I hope that helps you in the future when you have something like that on your table and you have to work with it. Just put it on a sphere and figure out which orientation it needs, and then everything is fine, because then it's exactly projected as the camera was oriented, and then it works. Thanks for listening. Have fun with it. Bye bye.